So first of all, also for unforeseen circumstances, the mayor cannot be with us today. So we're going to have Deputy Mayor Riley speaking in her stead. I would also like to acknowledge Councilman Brian Fassett, Councilman Ramon Fernandez, Councilman Rob Scott, and Deputy Mayor Pat Riley. And we are very pleased to be hosting Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, who's a wonderful supporter of the city of Pugsley. Thank you. Our own Colin Smith, our legislator, and Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg. So today is a very special day that we wanted to take a time out from our busy schedule, so we have a lot of staff here, and just acknowledge a few important achievements. So we've got three things that we really want to talk to you today about. The grand opening of Pugsley Park, newly renovated as the anchor project of Peekskill's downtown revitalization initiative. The designation of Peekskill as a pro-housing community. And finally, for winning a $10 million Momentum Fund Award for the city of Pugsley. So these things might sound like separate achievements, but they're a great example of a community working together with all wheels turning at the same time, but also a community that is working with its county and state partnerships intact as well, and for their participation and support, we thank you. And we today, with these projects, really want to thank New York State for all of their help. We're quite excited to be here to open Pugsley Park. It's been under construction for quite some time, but the effort undertaken to get Pugsley to this point has been quite dramatic. It involved us winning the DRI award in 2019 after a few years of working on achieving that goal. And just before the pandemic, a shutdown, rapid construction and material price increases, and supply chain issues challenged us. But today it's quite amazing to be standing here with all of you as we open this park. We would especially like to thank the Resident Advisory Committee, and they deserve a round of applause for their participation and their good help. We also have with us the Department of State's own Susan Lanfried. Susan has been an exceptional project manager. She's ensured our costs are reimbursed quickly, and she was instrumental in assisting us in the securing of almost $900,000 in additional funding for Pugsley and Monument Park. And we're also here with Aspect 120 Landscape Architecture, Susan Jachil and Kathleen Bakewell. We believe this design deserves an award. They helped us highlight the past by preserving discrete aspects of the original park and enhancing views toward St. Peter's Church while making the space more functional for our residents today. The design also looks toward the future with passive stormwater management infrastructure, night sky compliant lights fixtures, and dozens of native plant and tree species. This isn't the first time I've worked with Contech Construction Technology. Pasquale Carino and his family have done a lot of work in Peekskill and also in past places where I have worked, and they do exceptional work, and we would like to especially thank them for their participation. This project was complicated in that we needed to do some things ourselves in order to get it off the ground, and we are most appreciative of the efforts of Mark Fetzer, our parks foreman, and with Chris Gross and the rest of Mark's staff. So thank you so much to Mark. The Peekskill planning staff, Peter Irwin and Carol Samuel, deserve special recognition. One of our councilmen asked us to present projects and funding updates every week, and so every month. And so you'll see us do that at the last council meeting of each month. And we talk about what's been done, what needs to get done. Carol's plate, along with the rest of the planning department, is quite full. They are managing over $50 million in funding that they have currently. They're looking out for, and they have their ear to the ground for much more funding to come. And they have many, many projects all working at the same time. It's quite an accomplishment for an office staffed as they are. I should also say that we also want to thank Jean Friedman, who was the past planning director, for her work. She was quite instrumental in some of the achievements here today. Hudson Valley Museum of Contemporary Art. Hudson Valley MoCA received the DRI grant for the Enlightened Peekskill Public Art Initiative. We've highlighted some of their successes on one of our poster boards on display here. They have worked hand in hand with city staff to select and install inspiring artwork by local and nationally recognized artists throughout Peekskill, including some here in Pugsley Park. But also Peekskill Arts Alliance, Robin Klein, Christine Knowlton, and Candace Winter. Larry D'Amico cannot be here today, but deserves a round of applause for conceiving of the Pugsley Park mural banners more than 5 years ago and bringing them to fruition in time for this ribbon cutting. These 10 banners were all designed by Peekskill Arts Alliance members. Many of these original artworks were also exhibited at Open Studios earlier this month. Robin Klein, president of the Peekskill Arts Alliance, is here today, and Robin has been instrumental in pushing the Enlightened Peekskill initiative forward. Thank you, Robin. We'd especially like to shout out to Christine Knowlton and Candace Winter, the artists behind the 5 Elements murals on Requa. That was one of the first completed DRI projects and has really enlivened the neighborhood around our train station. The city of Peekskill and Westchester County are not strangers to the housing crisis. Because of our prime location at the top of the New York metropolitan area, our stunning natural surroundings, our historical housing stock, and our access to outdoor activities, housing prices that are a fraction of Manhattan's tiny apartments, Peekskill, along with Westchester, has long been plagued with constantly rising costs of living. Before the pandemic, millennials out of Brooklyn and new Americans found Peekskill to be a diamond in the rough for their tastes. It is a city that embraces wholeheartedly its diversity and has successfully had culturally competent community conversation about its future that values each and every voice. However, in March of 2020, the pandemic heated up this already simmering market and threatened to price out people in Peekskill who had been struggling to live here. It was during this time that the city put together a plan to pass legislation requiring that 10% of new development include affordable housing. Not stopping there, the city engaged developers who brought an even higher percentages of affordable housing into the mix. One such development is 645 Main, brought by Walter Barter Partners. This was a game changer for any previously held belief about affordable housing. It brought high-end finishes, rich amenities, state-of-the-art energy efficiency, and million-dollar views in a development that treated people right within walking distance of the Metro North train station. This has inspired the city to adaptively retrofit derelict or just underutilized properties with thoughtfully constructed and right-sized housing units for Peekskill residents. It's good for our residents, and it's good for the Peekskill's downtown revitalization. The governor's plan to address New York State's housing crisis came at the right time for Peekskill, because Peekskill is ground zero for the Mid-Hudson housing crisis in New York State. As Peekskill finishes out 2024 and 25, it will see the completion of its downtown revitalization initiative. That initiative mapped out a catchment area of revisioning and redevelopment in which we are standing right now. Because we had been planning for revitalization, growth, and redevelopment, we have already begun the process of mapping out where new development might transform blighted, underutilized structures. Peekskill is uniquely ready and qualified to enact this vision of a growing city that is pro-housing and ready to take on the task of putting infrastructure in place needed by the city to support new growth. So it's appropriate that the city of Peekskill envisions using $10 million from Momentum Fund to continue hardening its infrastructure along the corridor of its downtown revitalization area. The city knows of 9 locations within 2 blocks of this park itself where we are standing right now, where just over 400 units could be built. There are over 600 units which are ready to be built at the riverfront area. And we are very grateful that the governor has this problem on her radar and that we can be a part of the solution for New York State and Peekskill. Thank you to Empire State Development and New York State for your continued confidence in Peekskill. For this effort, it is appropriate to thank Governor Hochul for her outstanding commitment to local government and her vision regarding housing and how it is a right of everybody. We'd also like to thank Senator Pete Harcum, who I don't believe is able to be here with us yet, and Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg, Empire State Development, Linda Malave, and I'd like to put a special shout out to Eric Warren. And if you've never called Eric Warren and the ESD, Eric answers his phone no matter what time it is, where he is, what he's doing, and always has useful advice. But they've done an exceptional job. Their advisory committee for ESD, the Peekskill Planning Department, again, I want to say good job for getting us into the pro-housing community program and getting us this good application for this award. I'd also like to thank Mike Miner, who did the video for the Momentum Award, and our own Jesse Girola, the development community of Peekskill for bringing great project ideas to Peekskill. So I'd like to thank all of those people and just celebrate this day. So if you get a chance, please take a walk around, look and see what this park has to offer, and expect great things in Peekskill. So at this time, I'd like to ask Deputy Mayor Riley if she'd like to step up.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for all those words. And really, this is a momentous day that we received this Momentum grant. And it's a huge day for Peekskill. And thank you all for being here. So good afternoon. It's another great day for the city of Peekskill and its residents. Like the Broadway song lyrics say from the Broadway show Pippin, everything has its season and everything has its time. And yes, it's Peekskill's time. Thank you to everyone for being here today. And as a lifelong resident of the city of Peekskill, I am proud that the city of Peekskill has been awarded yet another $10 million grant from New York State, the Momentum Grant, and has designated Peekskill as a pro-housing community. That's a huge deal. Governor Hochul and New York State is pro-housing, and so is the city of Peekskill. We agree with this direction the state is taking and with the direction our city is taking. By being awarded this grant, this shows that the city of Peekskill and this administration and the city staff were all working together to bring smart growth and development to our city. The city and the city of Peekskill and its administration are committed to bringing the right kind of development. We want to be thoughtful and develop smartly. We do not want to overburden Peekskill with skyscraper buildings. We want a development that reflects the charm of our own community, our own city. We want to restore older properties and make them into a new use. By doing this, it would help our taxpayers and be respectful of them and make sure we don't overburden them. This also creates an economic base and prosperity for our downtown businesses. More people near the downtown, more people shop, use our restaurant and our businesses, and that's a very real thing. I want to read a quote that the mayor said, Mayor McKenzie, said when the grant was first awarded to us. Quote, I am so pleased that Governor Hochul and the state of New York have recognized the need for not only housing, but affordable housing, and have put grants like the Momentum Fund in the hands of municipalities like Peekskill that are committed to using these funds for infrastructure and improvements, which will enable Peekskill to support nearly 1,100 new units of housing in the region. Thank you to Governor Hochul, Assemblywoman Levenberg, Senator Harckham, and the entire Momentum team for the continued support, unquote. Peekskill is a true gem in the Hudson Valley. We have our own unique quality that other towns admire. Our walkable downtown, our riverfront, and the beauty of the Hudson River. Our beautiful parks, like the one we are in today. Just look around you. Look around at the design of this park. The eye just takes you up through the curves of the sidewalks, the walkways, the grassy areas, the performance stage, everything around it. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you to the beautiful artwork, which just makes it even more attractive to come here. Thank you to the Peekskill Arts Alliance, to all the artists for all their wonderful, wonderful work here. It truly is a treasure, and this is going to be the place to be. So thank you for that. We realized that this park was revitalized with another grant we received a few years back, the Downtown Revitalization Grant. And this is one of the first things that came to fruition under that grant. So thank you again to New York State for seeing what we always saw in Peekskill, that we're here and we're ready to go with whatever they can give us, because our residents deserve nothing more than this, the best. We will now see more fruits of our labors as other projects become completed. And as you can see, we have Fleshman's Pier, we have Depew Park. There's so many other things that are going to be popping up from the $10 million grant we got a couple years ago. So it's going to be really, really interesting and really special to see it through our town. Often I hear from our residents, both new residents and people that have been in Peekskill for many, many years. What I like most is that even though Peekskill is a small city, it has more of a small town feeling, where you bump into people, you know, as you go through your day. Whether you're visiting our local coffee shops, walking around, walking your dog to the dog park, it has that small town feeling. Peekskill is home. In closing, I would like to thank Governor Hochul, Assemblywoman Levenberg, Senator Harckham, our city manager, Matt Alexander, our entire city council, Mayor McKenzie, our city planning staff, Carol Samuel, Peter Irwin, economic developer, Matt Rudikoff, and the entire city staff for all their work in applying for this grant. It truly is a great day in the city of Peekskill, and we thank you for all your work in getting this Momentum grant. It was a lot of work getting it done, but New York State recognizes what a true gem the city of Peekskill is. For us, for our children, for our children's children, we're going to continue to grow and be that great small city with that small town feel. So thank you again.
At this time, it's appropriate to ask a representative from New York State, Dana Levenberg, if she could say a few words.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, and thank you to the entire city of Peekskill, to the board, to the mayor, and to all of the people who are involved in this project in planning, on various and sundry committees and boards. It really does take a village or a small city, as the case may be in Peekskill. And this is just a testament to all of the good work that you guys are doing here. I'm so impressed every time I come to Peekskill. It's always to celebrate something or someone or a whole group of people, and you have so many people here and so many groups here who are involved in making sure that Peekskill is really on the map and is really moving forward, progressing, but in a very thoughtful way that really involves the community. You have a lot of community support. There's always going to be pushback no matter what you do to change. But as you can see, once these projects really come together, everybody gets to benefit from them. The local businesses, the people who live nearby, the neighborhoods. It just brings everybody up, and seeing all of the arts community participating, and having, again, the economic development piece of this also is so critically important, because we know that we're going to see more jobs. We're going to see people who can afford to live here for many years to come. I love the focus. I'm so excited about the pro housing community, and so also excited that you got the Momentum Fund to continue to bolster all of the many projects. You have a big vision here in the city of Peekskill, and I know that together that we can all make sure that you are able to realize that big vision for the good of the entire city, and for all the visitors, and for all the people who work here as well. So thank you so much for all the great work. Congratulations on winning the Momentum Fund money on the pro housing community, and this good work that was done with that DRI money. And again, congratulations to everybody, because there's so many people here who are part of that. And thank you.
And we'd also like to hear from our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, just to talk to us. I would tell you that the county backs us up time and time again, and we do appreciate that partnership.
Well, first, it is a privilege again to be here in Peekskill with all of our great colleagues. First, I wanted to say congratulations, not just to Mayor McKenzie, who's not here, but Deputy Mayor Riley, all of the Peekskill Common Council members, Matt, all the professional staff that's here this afternoon, our colleagues in government from Dana Levenberg and certainly Pete Harcum, Senator Harcum, and my colleague on the County Board of Legislators, Colin Smith. On behalf of County Executive Latimer, we watch how Peekskill does its thing. And Peekskill is working together, not just with the Peekskill's Artist Guild and Artist Alliance, and with the residents community to be able to move these things forward. With the leadership of Governor Kathy Hochul, and the DRI was with Governor Cuomo, so Governor Cuomo was here, then Governor Hochul was here, and we're going to continue to do this kind of work because of Peekskill's leadership. Because of the work that you all do together, not just in Pugsley Park, Fleischman Pier, Depew Park, or anywhere else. We have a project that we're working on as part of the DRI from the county that we're going to continue to help make sure that we can move things a little bit more forward with the Boys and Girls Club and the Kali Youth Center, and we'll see how that goes along. But we're continuing to do that work. Peekskill is that shining star that's on the Hudson. Do people look around and say, congratulations on the Momentum Fund, the pro housing designation, but that only happens because of all the people in Peekskill and the commitment and the empathy and the passion that all of us have for Peekskill and continuing to move forward. So congratulations once again, Matt. We're going to continue to be here from the county as best as we can to help support, and with our colleagues at the state government, and hopefully continuing with the governor and all the things that happen there. And another $10 million means another $10 million worth of improvements, but with the partnerships with the business community, with the developers that have been here and that continue to invest here in Peekskill, that's going to make a difference for everyone. So congratulations once again, and all the best for another Momentum Fund movement. Congratulations.
Okay, so we're going to do a ribbon cutting, but before we do that, I'd like to ask Aspect 120 if Susan J. Chill and Kathleen Bakewell might want to say a couple of words just to kind of set the tone for how we're going to cut this ribbon and open this park designed by such a great team.
So nobody told us that we would have an opportunity to speak, but we are so amazingly excited to see all of you here. This has been a labor of love for the planning department of Peekskill, Peter, and amazing work that he's done, and just seeing this come from a discussion that we had, 2 years ago, to a line drawing, to public input, trying to figure out how to make it work, and then going through the construction process. I tell you, there's no better feeling. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be here. And where are we doing the ribbon cutting? Sounds good. Thank you so much.
And while we're getting set up, can we get a big round of applause for Charisse from Events to Remember, who always takes care of Peekskill. Thank you so much for your professionalism.
Let me know when we're doing it.
Photo ops first.
Okay.
Right? Don't cut. Charisse, call the ball.
All right. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3.
Have a great day in Peekskill.
Park, it's open.